So this video will be part 2 of organic molecules. So remember, as a review, all life is made up of the 4 organic molecules. These organic molecules are made up of monomers or subunits, same word. And remember, carbs and lipids are for structure and energy. Now we're going to look at the 2 organic molecules that control reactions. So first we're going to look at proteins. And the main thing is proteins get stuff done in cells. And they often end in ase. Now this can get a little bit confusing because remember, carbs end in ose and proteins end in ase. So what's the subunit of a protein? It is an amino acid. And I'm going to represent those as these little colored circles. And when you put together a lot of these amino acids, you make these long chains, and these are proteins. So for example, this would be a protein. Now notice there's a lot of different colors there because there are a lot of different amino acids that are used to make proteins within organisms. So what are proteins used for specifically? The main thing, the thing that you definitely got to remember, are proteins make enzymes. And we'll talk more about these in the next lesson. But they also do things like pigments, structure, make all kinds of things. The one thing that they really don't do, though, is provide energy. So a lot of people want to say proteins provide energy. They do not. That's not why you drink, like a protein shake after a workout. Carbs and lipids are energy, proteins are not. So what are some examples of proteins? Lactase. If you're lactose intolerant, it means you don't have the enzyme lactase to break down the carbohydrate lactose. Hemoglobin helps carry oxygen in your blood. And insulin helps control blood sugar, and if it is not made properly, then that leads to diabetes. So how does the structure of a protein affect its function? What's interesting about proteins is that they can fold into a 3D shape, and this shape allows them to work like a tool. So here's an unfolded protein, and it folds into this shape. And whenever I think of a protein, I always think of a wrench, because the shape of the wrench makes a difference. It's the shape of the wrench that allows it to do its job, and proteins are the same way. So let's move on now real quick to nucleic acids. So nucleic acids control cell functions, and they store data. So you can kind of think of them as being the boss. Like they're the ones that tell everything what to do. The subunit of a nucleic acid is a nucleotide. Now make sure you don't think, a lot of people think nucleic acid, amino acid, that those don't go together. Nucleotides make nucleic acids. And a nucleotide is made up of a sugar, a phosphate, and a base. And I know that seems kind of weird that you have a sugar creating the subunit of a different organic molecule, but that's the way it is. Sugar, phosphate, base. And later on we'll look at these bases are going to be really important. We have A, T, C, G, and U. And nucleotides will bond together to create these long chains to store data. So what are they used for? Really important to remember, nucleic acids code for proteins. And they store hereditary information. So hereditary, think genetics. This is how you get information passed down from your parents and grandparents and so on. It's through nucleic acids. And the examples of nucleic acids, we have DNA and RNA, both of which we'll talk about a lot more later on. So how does their structure affect their function? The main thing is nucleic acids have these different bases. and they can arrange these bases in a way to act as a code. So for example, these three bases, A, C, G together, think of it like words. That word codes for a specific amino acid which will be used to make a protein. And so in this way they are able to code for information.